I told you the timetable is fixed, no? It's the usual timetable. Whatever you were seeing it on Friday, the same timetable only. No more changes. Bio, maths, chemistry, physics. Uh, we'll just wait for a few more minutes. Some more students are yet to join. Was the test uninformed yesterday? Okay, so listen here. In Seekers, we'll have every week, we will have one chapter test, NEET or JE pattern test. Okay, so henceforth, what we will see is like you'll have a NEET or JE pattern test every week. For NEET students, you will be writing NEET exam. For JE students, you will be writing JE exam. This will be happening every week. And for JE, the marks will be 300. And for NEET students, the mark will be 720. It will be there in the original thing. Okay. And this test, no, like this will happen every week. I think you should be informed about the portions already. For the next week's test, I will try to announce it. Okay. Uh, Most probably we can start. I think yesterday it started. You'll have this weekly test. So let us try to give you the schedule well in advance so that you can prepare accordingly. If you are preparing for NEET, you will be writing biology, physics, chemistry. If you are preparing for JEE, you will be writing maths, physics, chemistry. The fourth subject would be optional for you. No, I think every Sunday we will write the test. JEE students cannot write the bio test. Timing yesterday, I think it was open throughout the day. Yeah, you can write. You have to write. It's still 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I think. Today, I'm not sure if you'll be able to write it. Just go check it. It will be posted in Learnity. Please do check Learnity every now and then. You will have something called a schedule there. According to that schedule only, a test will be happening. Okay. So kindly log on to Learnity every day and then check if there is something allotted for you. So there is a schedule column which is there in Learnity. You have to like see that on a regular basis so that you know what is happening and you can follow the same. Okay. So now children, let us move on to the class. So can you tell me where exactly will we stop? Okay, we have completed cell coat. Okay. So today we will start with what we call it as endomembrane system. Okay, the endomembrane system will have four parts. Endoplasmic reticulum. The second one is Golgi complex. The third one is lysosomes. And the fourth one is vacuoles. So all these four things together, we call them as the endomembrane system. So these four organelles together, we call them as endomembrane system. So now what we are going to do, we are now going to study about this endomembrane system, each and every organelle one by one. That is what we are going to do. Kindly take this thing down. These are all membrane bound organelles which are there inside the system. So we call them as endomembrane system. They are all covered with membrane. Okay, so we'll start with endoplasmic reticulum first. Okay, the endomembrane system is found only in eukaryotic cells. Yeah, and then that is what we have been studying about it. So you need to know about endoplasmic reticulum. The term endoplasmic reticulum was given by Kate Porter. Okay, this was given in the year 1953. It is a complex system of membranous sacs running through cytoplasm. It is irregular and then irregular network of microtubules. It encloses a single internal space occurs in three morphological form. One is what we call it as cistern A. The second one is called as vesicles. And the third one is called as tubules. Okay. So if you see cistern A will be like this. So cistern A will be like this. Okay. And then vesicles are there. Vesicles will be like this. The last one is tubules. So tubules will be like this. It is not cilia. It is not cilia which is found around cistern A. That is just a projection. Okay, so what is this thing that you need to know is, like, you need to know that endoplasmic reticulum, the term was given by Keith Porter. This is just a factual part. Okay. What are these? This endoplasmic reticulum is a system of complex membranous sacs. So if you see a cell, okay, you will have the nucleus. Associated with the nucleus, you will see a series of sacs running like this. Okay, this is what we call it as endoplasmic reticulum. So if you're seeing a system, if you're seeing a cell, you will be able to see such structures. So like this series of sacs which are running down, that is what we call it as system of membranous sacs running through the cytoplasm. That is what we call it as endoplasmic reticulum. They are irregular and they are like made up of microtubules. You are able to see that they are tube-like structures. That is what I mean by microtubules. So they are all like irregular. So you don't have any fixed shape kind of thing. Okay. And then it encloses a single internal space. So inside that thing, you have some space. So let us say, like, let me just put some yellow color. So there is that space which this particular membrane is enclosing. Okay, that space will be called as endoplasmic matrix. It is filled with some fluid kind of thing, which we call it as endoplasmic matrix. There are three different forms in which you can see an endoplasmic reticulum, three morphological forms. Okay, in different organisms, it can have different types. In some organisms, this endoplasmic reticulum is seen as cisternae. Okay, in some cells, we will be able to see them as vesicles. In some cells, you will be able to see them as tubules. Okay, so these are the three different structures. So this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So this is about basic information about endoplasmic reticulum. If you're done, we can move. Just let me know. The internal space does not have any name, but the internal space is filled with the fluid which is called as endoplasmic matrix. Basically, it is having some fluid kind of structure inside it. Endoplasmic reticulum is not yet over. I'm still teaching. Okay. So there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So you have something called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And then you have something called as a rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum is mostly in the form of vesicles and tubules. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is mostly in the form of cisternae. Okay, what is the basic difference between smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum? The ribosomes are absent here. Okay, and are not associated. In this case, the ribosomes are associated. I will explain, just write the difference now. Okay, these are responsible for synthesis of steroids, lipids, whereas these are involved in synthesis of proteins. Okay, so now let us try to understand what is the difference between them. I'll just explain. See here, know that all cells will not have rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum in the same level. Okay, so the endoplasmic reticulum is of two types. One type is what we call it as your rough endoplasmic reticulum. If you have a rough endoplasmic reticulum, what you will see here is you will be able to see that there are certain kind of things which are associated with it, organelles. What are these things? These are the ribosomes. If ribosome is going to be attached with this particular thing, we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, why we call it as rough? Because the surface is appearing rough. You will see here, it will be like looking like small projections like this. If you are able to see these kind of projections, it means it is rough endoplasmic reticulum. What are these yellow structures which I am drawing? These yellow structures are nothing but your ribosomes. Okay, so if they are present there, we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. On the contrary, if this endoplasmic reticulum is not having any such things, then we call it as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, we call them as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Without ribosomes, we call them as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Are we able to understand? So you have rough endoplasmic reticulum and you have smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is not called as ribosomal endoplasmic reticulum, but by definition, we can say that, but they are not called that way. RER stands for rough endoplasmic reticulum. So you guys should understand what is the role of these two things. The rough endoplasmic reticulum, please understand that the endoplasmic reticulum plays an important role in synthesis of substances in your body. Okay, so say for example in your cell, there are things which are produced. Okay, lots of things are produced by your cell. So proteins are produced by your cells. Fats and lipids are produced by your cells. Steroids and hormones are produced by your cells. So these are all things which are produced by your cell. Okay, who is responsible for production of all these things? The protein production will happen in ribosome. But what is happening to the ribosome? Ribosome will need some place to sit and produce. So the ribosome will be sitting where? It will be sitting in your endoplasmic reticulum. So basically, when the protein production is happening, the ribosome will be attached to the endoplasmic membrane like this. Okay, so the rough endoplasmic reticulum is mostly concerned only with the synthesis of proteins because your ribosomes are associated with it. Okay, so your rough endoplasmic reticulum is associated with ribosomes, so it is associated with production of proteins. Whereas your smooth endoplasmic reticulum will not have ribosomes attached to it. And they are mainly concerned with what? Production of steroids or lipids. Okay, that is what I have given here as the point. So mostly they are involved, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is involved with synthesis of steroids or lipids. Okay, and synthesis of proteins. Okay, and then you have this ribosomes are attached and associated with the rough, whereas ribosomes are absent with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Out of the three morphological forms, vesicles and tubules are abundant in smooth endoplasmic reticulum, whereas rough endoplasmic reticulum is more of cisternae. Okay. Okay, so one more thing, some person is asking me, sir, they work symbiotically. Okay, I don't understand what you mean by symbiotically. Symbiotic is not the word which is to be used here. Symbiotic is only for two different organisms. These are all two different organelles in the cells. No one is gaining anything and no one is losing anything. They are all doing their work. Okay, so someone wants third page. Prasanna, I don't understand what you're asking. Your spelling is wrong. So exactly, I don't know what you're asking about. It is not connected with this thing. Just check the spelling. Probably you'll understand it. I'll understand it. Okay, someone is asking. Listen here. The basic difference between them is like ribosomes presence and absence only. So yeah, you can say that if ribosomes are absent, we will call them as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Yes, you can call it that way. And I told you morphologically, you please understand structurally will they be similar. So this rough endoplasmic reticulum will be more of one type, the structurally. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum is mostly of this particular type. Okay, spherosomes are structures which you will study along with vacuoles and microbodies, not now. Basically, these hair-like structures are nothing but your ribosomes. Okay, so now are we able to understand? So the next thing is functions of endoplasmic reticulum. The first one is it gives mechanical support. Please understand a cell will have rough endoplasmic reticulum as well as smooth endoplasmic reticulum in it. Okay, it will have both RER and an SER in a single cell will be there. Because a single cell has to produce lipids also, it has to produce proteins also. Okay, but the distribution of rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum will be different. Okay, there are some cells where proteins are required at a higher level. So whenever you want a cell needs more protein synthesis is there. Say for example, there are some cells which are like macrophages. So those kind of macrophages will be having more amount of rough endoplasmic reticulum. Whereas there are certain cells which will require more of fat or lipids or steroids. So say for example, there are some liver cells which will secrete hormones, steroid hormones, or say for example adrenal cortex cells which will produce steroid hormones. Those cells will have more of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so say for example, you have something called as thing. I mean like you have your adipose cells, fat cells. So those fat cells will have like more amount of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Basically, both these things are present in a cell, but the proportion might vary. Okay, some cells will have more rough endoplasmic reticulum, less of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Some will have more of smooth endoplasmic reticulum and less of rough endoplasmic reticulum. So that is how they are present. Different cells will be having different things. So it will give you mechanical support by forming a network in cytoplasm. Yes, hormonal glands will have more amount of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. That is there. That is what I am trying to tell. So just copy this thing down. I'll just like you just take down this thing. I'll just try to tell you what it is. Okay, so you just take this thing down. I have got a question here. So there is someone asking me, sir, when both the morphology and function differs, what makes them classify under the same organelle? Okay, so someone is trying to ask me this question, sir. This smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum are quite different structurally, as well as they are quite different functionally also. Then why do you call them together as the smooth and the rough endoplasmic reticulum? Why do you have to classify them as the same organelle? Okay, so please understand, this is not like one particular kind of, we call them as one particular organelle because it is not a hard and fast rule that rough endoplasmic reticulum always has to be cistern A. Okay, but mostly it is cistern A. In some cells, the rough endoplasmic reticulum can be in the form of smooth vesicles also. Okay, in some cells, say for example, you have your neuron. Okay, in your neuron, your endoplasmic reticulum is present only as the form of what? Small granules like vesicles. Okay, there you don't see that cistern A structure at all in neurons. It is found in the form of granules. But those granules, if you see, they will perform the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum also and smooth endoplasmic reticulum also. Okay, these are all different cells are having different forms. Okay, so please understand that these are all attached with, these are all like different forms of the same organelle only. Different form of the same organelle. So really you cannot say that this is like different and that is different. In different cell, it is different ways. Some cells will have in the form of cistern A, some cells will have in the form of vesicles, some cells will have in the form of tubules. Okay, so mostly rough endoplasmic reticulum is seen in the form of cistern A. Mostly smooth endoplasmic reticulum is seen in the form of vesicles or tubules. But it is not a general hard and fast rule that a smooth endoplasmic reticulum always has to be vesicle or tubule. And there is no hard and fast rule that rough endoplasmic reticulum has to be cistern A only. Okay, so now coming back to the function here. you're able to see that endoplasmic reticulum is forming a network in the cytoplasm. So since it is forming a network in the cytoplasm, it is providing what we call it as a mechanical support. It is giving mechanical support to the cell by forming a network. So almost like a bone to the body. Okay, bone is giving some kind of support to our body. In the same way, endoplasmic reticulum is giving support to the cell. Okay, and the second thing is it forms an intracellular transport system. Okay, so now let us try to understand. So if you have this particular endoplasmic reticulum, the endoplasmic reticulum will be like this. Okay, so let us say that the ribosome is going to produce a protein. This protein is produced like this. So this protein is required somewhere in this part of the cell. The cell here will require that particular thing. So what will happen? This protein will be transported through this particular endoplasmic reticulum. And then it will try to come here. And then you will have your Golgi bodies which are there. It will get into the Golgi body. And the Golgi body will transport it to that particular location. Okay. So, which means this entire area is acting as a framework where it is helping your proteins and lipid molecules, whatever is secreted, to go to a particular location. So this is like kind of an internal transport system. It is not oozed out directly into the cytoplasm. These protein structures or lipid structures which are produced in the endoplasmic reticulum will go through the endoplasmic reticulum. It is like almost like a passage. Okay. And then through this passage only what is happening, these molecules are moving. So it will form an important part as far as the intracellular transport is concerned. Okay, it is having lots of it will not help in the transportation of nutrients in and outside the cell. Please don't mistake it. Whatever is being produced inside the cell, the proteins, lipids, it will form a transport area. It is like kind of like intracellular transport system is formed. Network, it is like kind of a network. Maybe I should put it in a different way. Okay, it will be like synthesizing molecules. Those molecules which are synthesized will be transported through the system. Okay, it will perform metabolic activities, various metabolic activities, because it is having lots of enzymes and all. So it will be like performing various metabolic activities. And then it will synthesize proteins, steroids, and lipids. You already know that proteins are synthesized by your rough endoplasmic reticulum, and steroids and lipids are synthesized by smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. In muscle cells, the endoplasmic reticulum plays an important role in muscle contraction. Okay, you will study this in physiology, human physiology. How the endoplasmic reticulum is involved in muscle contraction, you will study it in human physiology. Not now, but you just know that it is involved in muscle contraction. Okay. And then you have this organelles like lysosomes. This lysosome and all will be produced because of what? Substances produced by endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum will produce things which will produce lysosomes. So they are helpful in new cell organelle production. So cell organelles like lysosomes and all will be produced because of endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, someone is asking me, sir, endoplasmic reticulum is part of a cytoskeleton. Yes, that is what I told you. The first point here explains that. Someone else is saying, how will the protein be transported from endoplasmic reticulum to Golgi bodies? Are they connected to each other through passive transport? Yes, they are connected through they are connected with each other. Endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi body are associated with each other. Okay. So with this thing, endoplasmic reticulum is over. Okay, someone is asking me this question. I don't understand why you guys have to ask these things now when I'm not taught all these things. There is something called as riboforins. Someone is asking me what is riboforins. Okay, the word foreign is indicating that it is a membrane protein. Okay, so these riboforins, or we call them as riboporins. These are all proteins which are present in proteins helpful in the transport system. So they are all transmembrane proteins. Okay, so these are the things, they are helpful in the transport of substances here. So this endoplasmic reticulum will also have riboporins. The rough endoplasmic reticulum will have riboporins, whereas the smooth endoplasmic reticulum will not have those riboporins. They are like proteinaceous structures. Your endoplasmic reticulum is also a membrane in which you have some proteins in between. One of these protein is what we call it as riboporins. But this is not required. You're not studying BSc botany or zoology. Okay, someone is asking what is steroids. Steroids are substances derived from a fat which is called a sterol. Steroids will have a chemical group which is called a sterol. Okay, so they are all derived from fats. From fats, a substance called sterol is produced. Whichever is having the sterols, we call them as steroids. Most of your hormones in your body, testosterone, estrogen, okay, corticosterone, cortisol are all like example for steroid hormones. Steroids are useful, I mean like they are chemical compounds which are produced by the body. Okay, so now we will move on further. We have 10 more minutes. We can start with Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies or Golgi complex, both are same. Okay, it was first observed by Camillo Golgi in the year 1898. Okay, it occurs in two forms. The first form is what we call it as a localized form, and the second form is what we call it as a diffused form. So the localized form is near the nucleus. Okay, the diffused form is scattered throughout the cytoplasm. Okay, so now we will learn about something called as dictyosomes. The dictyosomes are scattered diffused Golgi body that is not well defined and scattered throughout cytoplasm. And they are present in plant cells, fungi, and ciliated protozoans. Okay, please take this thing down. Are you guys done? Yes, can we proceed? So if you're talking about structure, okay, it is in the form of a series of flattened membranous top sacs called cisternae. Vesicles or vacuoles. Okay, listen, children. Here, you please understand that we don't call them as Golgi bodies always. Okay, some of these cells, plant cells, fungal cells, and ciliated protozoans will not have well-developed Golgi bodies. They are all called as dictyosomes. Okay. Okay. Whereas in case of animals and then like higher organisms, like plant cells, some of the plant cells will also have not well-defined Golgi bodies. So they will have only dictyosomes. But dictyosomes are like kind of primitive structures. They are diffused Golgi body. What is the meaning of diffused Golgi body? The moment you are saying localized, it is always found near the nucleus and the endoplasmic reticulum. Whereas if you are talking it is diffused, it is scattered throughout the cytoplasm. So if you are going to talk about a cell, let us say that this is a cell and this is the nucleus. If the Golgi bodies are associated near the nucleus, we call them as localized. Otherwise, what will happen? The Golgi body will be like kind of like made up of like 2 or 3 structures. The cisternae will be there and they are diffused throughout the cell. So in such case, we call them as diffused. Okay. So whenever you're talking about certain cells, it is not localized. It is always diffused. Which are those cells? In plant cells, in fungal cells, in ciliated protein cell, protozoans. You will be able to see diffused Golgi body that is not well defined, which means they are not proper in structure. That is what is the meaning of it. So that is how it is present. Okay. So now what we are studying is we are studying the structure of Golgi body. So how will it be? Structure of Golgi body. Okay, so it is made up of like 3 different structures: cisternae, vesicles, and vacuoles. Tomorrow we'll continue with this thing. It's almost time now. We'll study about structure of Golgi body tomorrow. Okay, thank you. First slide. Second slide. Third slide. Fourth slide. Fifth slide. Sixth. Seventh. Eighth. And ninth. Okay. Thank you very much, children.